Welcome to the Beyond Anxiety podcast, where we talk about dismantling mental health stigmas, mental health awareness through education, and strategies for overcoming mental health challenges. I'm your host, Darius Fennell, and I'm a mental health and therapy advocate, published author, speaker, and coach. I'm so glad you decided to tune in and listen, and I'm so excited to get into this next episode. Welcome, and please like, subscribe, follow, comment, and enjoy.
Watch it all fall apart, watch it drift like sand. You can form no weapon, but it never would prevail.
And welcome back to another episode of the Beyond Anxiety podcast. I'm your host, Darius Fennell, and it is season 3. Can you believe it? We are already in the third rendition of this journey, and I thank you so much for being here and your support and the comments and the likes and the subscribes and all that good stuff. And today, I have a special guest, someone who I've had the pleasure of knowing now for, what, we're going on 3 years now? I think, 3 years, man. And, our paths crossed at a mutual friends conference, or I should call it live experience. And I got a chance to hear a little bit of his journey, and I was like, oh man, I feel this connection already. I know at some point, our paths are gonna connect it. And so here we are, and I'd like to welcome Dr. Let me get it right. Dr. Justin, Dr. Justin Grimes. A little bit about himself. He is a published author, a speaker, a podcast host, and founder and coach for Apply to Grad School. Would you please give a warm welcome for Dr. Justin Grimes? Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, man. I'm glad I had the opportunity to be on here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I gave a little bit of background about you, but give us a little bit more about who you are and what you do and how it sort of ties into a mental health journey.
Yeah, that's a really good question to start with. Well, one thing I tell people is essential roles for me is number one, I am a faith believer. I am a believer in God, identify as a Christian. That's at the core of all my decision making and thought processes. Number two, I'm a husband. And so being a husband, being in that role every day, what I tell people is by far the most challenging job that I have to do on an everyday basis. And then that third tier is being a father to a now 4-year-old who is active and at this point is wondering like, why is he not up here with me? Upstairs with me. But those are the tiers. And in terms of my work, as was already explained, I am the founder and owner of Apply to Graduate School, where we help individuals find, fund, and flourish in a graduate program aligned with their goals. And the way this is really directly connected, my work aligns with mental health. In my opinion, it is essential that to go through this journey of pursuing an advanced degree is definitely a mental, emotional, and physical journey. And you have to be in the right headspace to go forward with doing this to make it a successful journey. It is one that might actually send you to therapy. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It sent me to it. And so that my experience going to my doctoral doing my doctoral journey at the University of Georgia is the beginning of my therapy journey. And so I credit that experience for really unlocking and unearthing something in me that I always knew I needed to address, but I finally decided it was the time. And so the people that I work with, I'm always trying to help them to think through the decisions that they're making with logic, with being in the right emotional state to do this, while also making a good financial decision. And so we know if your money ain't right, your mental health is going to be somewhere else, right? And so
Yeah.
that is kind of a good way to merge these two things together.
Oh man, dude. It's crazy how your paths cross with people. And as I hear your story, even what you mentioned about just the importance of having a good mental health for your grad school, I did not have any of that. And I started my grad school journey back in 2004. And so, good segue into some point. I'm definitely looking forward to being on your podcast and talk more about that journey.
Mhm.
Uh, Anxiety at that time was just like at an all-time high. I came from an HBCU, and grad school was in a PWI, predominantly white institution, and it was night and day. And
Mhm.
so at the time, I did not have the skills to kind of understand the importance of going to therapy and mental health and all that stuff. But this is my segue into the question for you, and I'm envious because I'm like, man, if I had this tool back when I first started, I probably wouldn't have run into the mess I ran into back in 2018. But
Mhm.
what was sort of the indicator? We all know at some point, like, we should get help, but there's stigmas and all types of stuff attached to why we may resist, or maybe we don't understand the process, or how do you find a therapist? Like, those are all things that I didn't know about and sort of just said, well, I don't understand it and I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to do what I've always done. But what was your point where you said, you know what, probably should seek some help and stop either putting this thing off, or regardless of what I don't know about the process, I know this is something I need to do?
Yeah, so my career has been extensively working in higher education until the last almost now 4 years working, as a business owner, and during that time period, one institution that I work for, I just felt like I was experiencing something but couldn't name it. I couldn't
Yeah.
really explain what was going on, but I just didn't feel great, you know? I am at a good place health-wise. I'm at a good place. I'm decent financially, but something was still off and I couldn't figure it out. Like I just didn't want to be at my apartment.
Mm,
I was just really struggling with like later on what's been like I have a bit of a sound sensitivity. And so when I can't control or decipher where the noise is coming from specifically, it can send me in a bit of a like panic, anxious feeling. And I instantly kinda get in the space of like, "Now why did I do that?" And in this specific instance, I live with this neighbor. This person and she lived below me. This lady probably had like 10 cats, 2 dogs, in a one-bedroom apartment, and I felt like she was at home all day. And she was a more well-rounded, full-figured lady, and so when she moved or walked, I felt it, even though she was below me. These apartments were not they were not the best in terms of what they should have been, and so that was kinda one instance where, like, I hated to be at home,
mm.
and I didn't talk with anybody, and when I started my doctoral journey at UGA, I had a neighbor who would, like, run down the steps. I mean, she would be like, "Do, do, 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 do," up and down, and I'm like, "What is going on?" And I couldn't figure it out, and I was like, "I got to go talk to somebody," because I couldn't sleep good. I was anticipating when she was going to be back. I was learning her habits because it was bringing me such discomfort, and I was like, that might be normal for somebody, but this is not my norm." And I can't control it. I can't be like, "Hey, lady, stop going down your steps." She pays rent like I pay rent.
Right.
And so that was the first thing that got me there. The doctor, I mean, the therapist that I saw was really like, "I think you have some anxious feelings here. I think you suffer from some type of anxiety." And
Mm,
that was really the start of this journey of really understanding how do I manage experiences that I have no control over. When I'm in control, when I can see it, when I can predict it, when I can like feel my way, I'm good.
mm.
But when, it's out of my control, it's like I don't know. Um
Yeah.
And there are patterns of things that would happen too. Like summers were always slower. So when summers are slower, my anxiety levels increase. I become more hypercritical of things, including myself. And so that was something that a friend pointed out to me that I was like, I feel like I'm doing that again in this experience of this doctoral journey. I need to go see somebody. And that was kind of two really pivotal things that were happening that pushed me towards wanting to go meet with someone.
So, man, the awareness that you expressed, is really impressive because to know that you had some type or felt some type of issue, but couldn't put a label on it, but still recognizing that, I probably need to get some, assistance with this. Like it goes a long way. If you don't have that step, like the delay can go for years before
Mhm.
you decided, you know what, let me take this step. But what I want to ask you is, what was your first impression of therapy? And then did it take you a couple of therapists before you got one that you felt like was a good fit? Or did you just say, you know what, I picked this one, I'm rocking with it, and here we go?
Yeah, man, oh, the beginning. I can see him too clear as day. I cannot remember his name, but he was an on-campus mental health professional. So I would go to the health center and they had all types of people in there. I mean, they probably had about 15 different folks on staff. And so I remember going to see him, and my initial thought was, "This is a quirky white man. He's got some interesting habits about him." Like, this is the type of guy who's, like, all plants all around him. It was a weird vibe, but again, I was just kinda rolling with it to understand things, and I remember one of the tools he gave me to manage my anxiety was to do this thing called Leaves on the River. And he
Yes.
would be like, "Okay, Justin, I want you to picture that thought. I want you to picture that thought being a leaf. And I want you to just slowly see that leaf going down the river. Do you see the leaf going down the river? Close your eyes and imagine." And I'm just sitting there like, "Buddy, I don't know what you talking about. I don't see leaves. I don't see rivers. I'm trying to what I see is a creek. What I actually see is like when you're playing a YouTube video and there's music playing and
Yeah.
there's this jungle or forest with water, and that's what I'm picturing, but I can't feel it, right? And so but I stuck with it because I'm like, these are free sessions. I'm gonna get the most out of these sessions. And then he said, "How are you dealing with this? How is it working?" I was like, "I don't think this is working for me. I need something different." And he said, "Why don't you try a group?" And he said, "I run this group. It's a different group of people, other folks like you who suffer from anxiety." And that's when I tell you, I realized my level of anxiety is not the same as everybody else's. I was in there with people who could not function without medication. I was in there with people who they were lucky they showed up to the session that day. And that made me realize, like, okay, what you're experiencing or dealing with is not to the level of severity that you thought it was at. And I realized this ain't the group for you. I'm listening, but I'm like, lady, you this probably not the job for you. You probably need to stop dating that man. Other person, you need to just I
Right.
remember everybody in the group. I'm like, you need to go talk to your parents. Just tell them you don't want to do this degree no more.
Yeah.
And so it seems so simple, but I got to experience the group. And from there, I went and saw another woman for another topic I won't dig into. And then I found another guy, another white guy, who was great. Fletcher was phenomenal. He was a Christian-based therapist and just really cool older gentleman. I just liked his vibe. And I felt like he gave me a good level of awareness for myself. And by that time I had really got a better handle on managing anxiety. Or my sensitivity to sound, my sensitivity to not being in control just kinda lessened a lot more. And I'll stop there because that's really kinda where it started. So I would say it took 3 people before I finally 2 people before I got to Fletcher, so he was number 3 for me.
Got you. Did you feel at all maybe discouraged, like, man, maybe this is a bad idea? Or were you like, you know what? Let me just pivot a little bit. Like, I don't think this is a bad thing, but I just haven't found the right fit yet.
It was the second part, like, I just don't think I found the right person for me. I'm seeing small wins, and I'm thankful for the progress that I'm making. It was a very private journey. I wasn't, like, advertising this to people or anything, and so that was good. Sometimes cost can be a factor for people. So because I had insurance that would pay for it, and again, the university, and when I switched to Fletcher, he was not on campus, but he still took insurance. I think my copay was like $10 or something like that.
Okay.
So I was like, oh man, this is good. But it just was helpful to get out of the academic setting. I'm in this academic set. I'm in this academic space for majority of my time besides when I'm home. So just getting out and talking to another person who has no need to judge, has no need to use prior knowledge or information to harm or anything like that. It was just great, man. I loved going to his office and talking to him. It was just like, here's another space that I'm going. I'm gonna go talk to a friend.
Yeah. And it's so key and so important. And I remember my first therapist from day one when I got in there, I was like, okay, I'm a little nervous about this because I had never done it before. I don't know what you're gonna ask me. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about
Mhm.
certain things. But the moment I got in there and we got past the little formalities and just kind of administrative things that you have to do when you first get in there for onboarding and stuff. But once we
Mhm.
started to talk, I was like, man, I feel really safe.
Yeah.
Then part of me was like, all right, let's just go ahead and open the floodgate and all these things I've been holding for 4 decades, here it comes, you know?
Mhm. And that's one thing about me is that when I started the therapy journey, I've always been very transparent because my thought was, why would I pay to lie? Why would I pay to hide information and insight with someone who's trained to help me to understand myself better and more
Okay,
importantly, be able to like live life in a different way? And I'm in this journey that's already stressful, that's already
right.
challenging. And so the last thing I wanna do is to be trying to fake it in grad school and then be faking it for myself in real life. At some point, the true person and the true realities have to come to the forefront.
Yeah. Did you feel like, though, there was a level of trust that needed to be built and that you progressively shared stuff? Or were you just like, "You know what? By law, you can't really other than, me expressing harm for myself or others, this conversation can't leave this room, so Imma go ahead and just open it up and say what I need to say," or were you kinda like, "Ah, let me get a little bit and see what you come back with first?"
Over time, my trust, the window or the space of time it takes to build trust has lessened.
Mhm.
Probably because when we do that intake session, I'm gonna tell you everything going on. Here's what happened with the last person. Let me catch you up. And so with the third person, with Fletcher, it took a little bit more time, and part of that was racial. I'm in this doc program, and we're talking about very deep topics: assault and racism, sexism. By the time I was with Fletcher, this is when marriage equality law passed, and that was the week after the shooting in South Carolina at that church. So I'm dealing with
Mm,
very deep, heavy topics
yeah.
in school that I'm like, hold on, white man. Let me, can I fully trust you with this? Are you aware of this? Okay. So I chose to lean in more in that point on the religious aspect of things and getting some theology to match it. But what I appreciated is that he wasn't trying to be a pastor. He was a therapist from the beginning, and his goals and his expectations were very clear. It's just little parts of the process that made it very good. His billing process was seamless. Worked with some folks whose billing is terrible. His appointment scheduling was easy. He never he was never late. He never had to be delayed. He never had to cancel. He was the consistency that I needed in a
Yes.
space that had more chaos in it. Like, even though it was organized chaos, but he provided what I needed in that moment, which I think makes the therapy journey even better for people is when you can transition from one space of chaos or uncertainty and get in a space with a person who, to your words, makes you feel safe, that allows you to just relax. It's like the best deep breath you've ever gotten out. Like, if I can get that feeling every time, this is it. And that's what his space provided me with.
That's great, man. I'm glad that you are expressing that. I've heard horror stories from other folks where it didn't quite go that well, or everything down from billing to them not canceling. Because when you need to talk to somebody and they suddenly become unavailable, like, you feel like your whole world is like, "Oh my god, what am
Oh,
I gonna
man.
do? Okay, I gotta wait a week? Like, man,
Yeah.
like, what am I supposed to do between now and then?
Listen, a week or 2 weeks can be a lot of time.
Eternity," you know?
Mhm.
Especially if you don't you're still in the place where you're developing tools and insight and reframing, and you haven't quite fully walked in those yet, and so the world,
Mhm.
as you said, chaotic, and you wanna feel or develop a sense of safety in the middle of that chaos outside
Yeah.
of the therapy room. Sometimes the training has to come in that room first, and then you take it out with you. But another point that you just made about the person not trying to pass you is that there is sometimes, as Christians, we can sort of spiritually bypass stuff without even realizing it. And it's like, yeah, God is love and this and that, but you're not okay. You've
Mhm.
got some trauma and things that you need to, like, deal with. You got some tough topics on the inside that you have to come to terms with, and just saying God is good and he'll work things out. There's still that free will aspect that says this is your part in it. And if you
Mhm.
continue certain habits, you're gonna get these results that you don't like.
Mhm.
And don't blame it on God, don't blame it on the devil, blame it on your bad mindset and really uh, trauma thoughts that have been kind of embedded and conditioned you to behave a certain way. You
Mhm.
know, um, I heard some pretty hard things in therapy where, you know what, I need to go for a walk now because it wasn't mean, but it shook me at my foundation of what I thought was true and what I was holding
Yeah.
on for self-preservation. And now somebody just came and said, let me grab that real quick and let you look underneath that.
Mhm.
Everybody is I don't think you're ever ready for it, but
No.
you
No.
need a good
No.
therapist that can kind of pace you and walk you through that process. So I'm glad the person that you dealt with didn't just try to throw a bunch of theology at you and just the cliche things that we normally say and just to kind of get by. It's like, no, we
Mhm.
have to do some hard work and hard conversations here.
Yeah. Me too.
So yeah, and I would say the other aspect about being a Christian and even within the faith is if you had to use medicine or had to even go to a therapist, like sometimes there's a stigma of, well, man, if you just have faith, you wouldn't need any of this stuff. Or
Mhm.
one pastor say, you don't need man's philosophy. All you need is the word of God. I'm like, okay, I was doing, I'm still in the same place. So, I mean, does that mean I don't have any faith? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, you act like God didn't also create doctors.
Right.
That there weren't people who were doing healing work that used medication, right? Like, this has been in existence, you know?
Exactly.
It's quite interesting. Yeah, yeah.
But those,
Fletcher was a good guy, man. He was a good dude. I really enjoyed him, but nothing compares to the black women therapists that I've had. Yeah. That's been a great journey.
got you. Got you. What would you say was the number one thing that would stand out to say this is why that this puts them at a higher tier for you personally?
Yeah, I think for many black individuals, they could probably talk about just the racial safety that is there. Like the things that I can express and talk about is not something that you have to hypothetically think about or you have to draw from your experience with other clients. Like you
Right.
live it too, right? Like you
Yeah.
black, I'm black, so we live black things. We have black
Right.
experiences.
Yeah.
So like I don't have to explain these things to you because you inherently have an understanding.
Yeah.
And I don't want to assume that just because a person is black, they understand all things, right? Because
Right.
blackness is not a monolith, right?
Right.
But,
Right.
it's just been different, when I finished school, excuse me, we moved to Virginia, and that was my first experience with a black woman therapist, and it was like having the kind auntie and the mean auntie at the same time. wrapped with a good motherly grandma hug.
Yeah.
And so all of that was there.
Yeah.
You know, what I've learned is that Black women have a specific way of not only saying things, but their expressions. Like, Black people communicate with our entire bodies. And so being able to be in that experience and witness a person communicate with their body is like, oh, okay, cool. I get this, you know. But also it is the deep personal connection to things. Finding someone who establishes clear boundaries, but who's also human. It's not that I didn't feel that the white woman or the white male therapist that I saw didn't also experience those things. I didn't experience that with them in that same way.
Sure. Sure.
I also didn't choose to talk about the racial experiences, and that probably was because I wasn't ready to do that. Again, I'm having these conversations in class. I don't also want to come and talk to you about the same thing. And so it's been a very exciting journey. It's been a challenging journey. I tell people I had this one time I wrote that said, "Why do Black women therapists keep divorcing me?" Because I'm on my fourth one, not because of something bad. It's just the journey of being a mental health professional evolves and people's interest in the things that they do change. And sometimes that relationship just doesn't carry on forward for whatever reason it may be. But every one of them just has offered something uniquely different. None of them have been the same.
So
And I like that. And I think what also matters is they've all met me at the right place of where I need them in that moment.
tell me what the your discharge process was like, because
Oh, man.
uh, I'm asking you that
So,
because the
yeah,
first
so I'm
time I
thinking,
looked at
okay, yeah, let me think about my first one. So my
yeah,
first one, I saw her individually, then I saw her for couples, and then I saw her again individually.
okay,
And she decided to relocate to Atlanta. We're in Southwest Virginia, and Southwest Virginia is 92% white.
okay,
So, I recognized that what was needed and necessary for her was not to necessarily end the practice because she actually kept the practice. It's still there in Southwest Virginia. She still owns the entire business, but she's
okay,
in Atlanta. And part of that decision was because she recognized this is a point in time where I need my 2 Black sons to be in a very Blacker space.
okay,
I need to prepare them for the world ahead, and I don't know if I'm gonna do that here. And it was also a good time for her and her husband to relocate,
mhm,
and there was some flexibility in terms of opportunities there for him in ministry work, and so that's how that one ended, and it was like, "Hey, I gotta tell you something," and, you know, the interesting part is none of these discharge experiences are fun, like, I'm thinking about the one before this one that I have now. She was like, "Hey, I gotta tell you something." And I come in, I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" She's like, "This is not gonna be good news, but I'm getting ready to leave this practice here to go do this thing." And I was just like, "Yo, are you serious, man? Like, I just started with you like 7 months ago, and we're vibing.
right,
We're making good progress, and but I understood it, why you needed to leave, because the actual practice was not the right fit for you. The same one I have currently now. She wound up having to tell me in January, not January this year, but no, she told me that she told me she was needing to move because things just weren't working at this practice. And so that has given me insight into what they go through in being mental health professionals from the business aspect. And I have it serious, but my wife is a counselor, right? She's a
okay,
professor who teaches in counseling. So I have that perspective of hearing that from a professor and who's teaching the folks who will go on to be the clinicians. And so is is not fun when you have to have that breakup, or what I say is our divorce. And I gotta go through and establish this relationship with a new person. Sometimes they know somebody else, sometimes they don't. But then it's like I gotta end it, and I gotta sit with the fact that that ended. And not only that, the difference with a friendship or a relationship is I might still see you, but in this relationship with this, I don't see you anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not looking you up on social media. I'm not trying to rekindle this relationship or this therapy relationship. Like when it ends, and that's hard. It was like the second time I was sad, like, "Man, okay." No, that was the third time, but the second one, like, we moved, so she
Yeah.
wasn't licensed to see people
Yep.
in North Carolina,
Gotcha.
and
Yeah.
so that just was had to be what it had to be, but that last one just probably was the one that hurt because I was like, "Man, we're making such good progress,"
Yeah. Yeah.
and I hated to hear that because I also knew a couple other people who were in that practice, and they left. So it was environmental, and I'm like, "Yo, okay." So even therapists in their business space don't feel safe and feel protected and things are right. So it's just like, wow, that there. But that transition is not the ending is not fun, but once you vibe with a new person, it's great. But you gotta go through, gotta do it. And I know people who may experience that and say, "See, this is why I won't do it," because they'll end on you and they'll stop on you. But if you're making progress, seek out another opportunity to keep going.
Yeah.
The next
Well, and
person
that
might
was
be the right person you need in that moment.
yeah, that was the conversation I had with mine because she didn't leave, but she basically was like, "Darius, we've hit all the milestones. I don't have any more concerns." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" When you hear that, you're like, What are you saying? What are you about to tell me?"
Yeah.
Like, I think we can go ahead and she said the D word, said discharge. I was like,
Oh, lady. Yeah.
that mean that I was like, "Wait," I said, "Can we do, like, maintenance stuff?" Like, I know we went from weekly to biweekly to monthly. I was like, "Can we do quarterly? Like, can you keep me in the system so if
Mhm.
I need to call a meeting, I don't have to go through the onboard, I can just find a time slot and come?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, we can do that." So, it wasn't as abrupt as I thought it was gonna be, but it was like, wow, you do all this training, kinda remind me of physical therapy, right? You're doing all these stretches and strengthening and range of motion, all that stuff, and now you get to really see what you're made of. So, and then you go out and find out, it's like, wow, I can handle this stuff, right? Doesn't mean
Mhm.
I'll ever be back and go and find another therapist or start sessions up again, but like I can truly walk in the confidence of saying, we've done the work. You've helped me to do the work. And I'm not that same person that first walked through those doors.
Yeah, agreed.
You don't know it until you actually are put into, okay, here's the new person, but in the old flames, and you're finding out, man, I'm not burning at all. I'm good. You know?
And I get to see the progress that I've made from when
Absolutely.
I start with another person, and they're like, "Huh, you have hyper awareness. You're
Yeah.
very self-aware,
Yeah.
very you're not like my other clients. My other clients, I
Yeah.
gotta pull stuff out of them.
Oh, yeah.
I
I've
could just
never
see
had
where
that
they
problem.
are. That's
You got
not
pull
my
nothing out
problem.
of me.
Yeah,
Because
Imma tell you
once I
exactly what's
realized
going on.
right, once I realized, I'm like, "Okay, I'm not gonna get free from any of this stuff if I suppress it." So, I was like, "Man, here the faucet line is wide open. I hope you got enough buckets to, hold what I'm about to give you
Mhm.
'cause it's coming." And did you find yourself at the towards the end of the actual session, like, just wishing, like, "Man, if I had, 15, 20 more minutes, like, I wish I could have that time." Or were
Oh,
you like,
every time.
We're out of time." Okay, every time?
There hasn't been one that I've met with that I didn't want another 10 to 15.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the best part of it is that
Because it comes
last
towards the
10 to
end, right?
15. And I'm like, how come we couldn't get to that part
In the beginning.
sooner? But I'm like, man, I need that. But I'm also like aware of the time. So I'm like, okay, we about to get to this point. And I've tried to be like get myself to that space faster, and it still doesn't it just doesn't happen that way. But that's my favorite part is like, oh man. I know where we get to pick up from here. And the other part about the journey that's really beautiful is when you get someone who knows and can recall where you were the last time y'all talked and able to come right back to that. I'm amazed at the way mental health professionals are able to do that.
Yeah.
Good ones are able to do
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I know the person that would come into the session after me will be giving me looks like, "Man, you cutting into my time." I'm like, "Yep, I am."
Mhm. Mhm.
I started being the last person of the day so that I wasn't doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So it squeezed me a little bit of time, but at some point it's like, "Hey, man, now you cutting into my time too. I gotta
Mhm.
go home and feed my family and have quality time with my significant other and kids and stuff." So, but it just really spoke to it sounds like you were experiencing the same, just having that rich connection and getting into a flow where you're receptive to hearing new things, hearing new reframe thoughts, having things challenged as well.
Yeah.
That's, not every session you're going to come in and have a boohoo, crying session. There've been times I've left mad, and it wasn't at the therapist, but it was like, what you showed me today, I can't unsee and I can't pretend anymore. I
Mhm.
gotta live with this now. So I'm glad our sessions come to an end this time because I need a little time to just sit in my car or somewhere quiet where I can just sort of figure out what just happened now, man.
I feel like couples was there for me. Every time I've done couples, I've had to be like, "All right, that was good. Let me go sit here
Need some
for a
time.
second." And the other time where I've probably felt the most vulnerable but open was that first Black woman that I had who wound up going to Atlanta. She we started when I finished my doctorate, when I'm evolving into this new professional space in this brand new place. And then she's there when we find out we're pregnant, and then that baby doesn't make it to term, and then my dad passes, and then my mom passes. So she's seen all of that.
Yeah.
And that's like I credit having a therapist and going through that journey is what has helped me to be able to get up every single day. It has helped me to manage and still more grief to manage, but it has been essential to that experience. Like someone who meets you at one place and can see you through these other things, you don't know. So I'm always thankful for the time, those 4 years, 3 years that we worked together, because that's hard. That's a lot to tackle. Losing parents is a lot to tackle. Losing parents 6 months apart is a lot to tackle. And to do that alone, I can't imagine it. But to do it knowing that, okay, I know I gotta go check in this week. I get to say, if today's just crying, it's just crying. If today is frustration, it's just frustration. If today is the job conversation, it's the job conversation. But no matter what, she's there and she's listening, and she's challenging with curiosity, but she's also challenging with sensitivity.
Mm.
And so not everybody's able to make that adjustment. And so finding a person who can do both of those. But I recognize there's this only comes as a direct result of my willingness to be vulnerable and show up. Because
Dude,
if
you
you
made it back
don't show up, then you
back
just would you waste, and my thought has always been this, I tell people, "Why would you waste a $30 copay
right, right,
to lie, to hide?
right.
Your body's giving it away, so just go ahead and say it."
That when you mentioned about just, your therapist having that attunement, I remember one time I'm looking my therapist dead in the eye as she's talking to me. And she stopped. She said, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Hey, what with you? What you mean?"
Mhm,
Like, "No, you're not."
mhm,
And then I was like, "Yeah, you're right, man. I zoned out like 10 minutes ago."
yeah,
I'm trying to fake it though. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying
yeah,
like, yeah, I'm listening to shaking my head. She's like,
you're not here. You're not here.
pause
Yeah,
here and understand what's happening. And number one, and this was another kind of paradigm shift for me, it's not just the ruminating thoughts in your mind, but the sensations in your body,
Mhm.
right? Why did your chest just tighten up? Why do you feel, why do you feel like, I asked her one time, I was like, did you turn the heat on?
Mhm.
My body was reacting.
Yeah, it's like, I notice you're tapping a lot more. I notice you've crossed your legs a lot. I notice you put your hands in a fist. The full attention, like those
Yes.
things. But, you know, the other part that's been really good about this is that I've become more comfortable with talking about mental health and my mental health journey that I'm like, y'all gotta go see somebody. Like, when my dad passed, that I because of my journey, my mom decided to go see somebody. But my mom passed, and that helped my aunt to go talk to
Mm,
someone.
mm,
That I've helped friends go talk to someone because I'm honest about what this is. Like, we don't have to be in chaos before we go see somebody. This could be very preventative. It's preventative medicine, right? And so, like, give yourself the opportunity to experience a peaceful version of you, a healed version of you. And, you know, the other part too is because, like, in social media, I always talk about black. I won't, you know, at one point it was like, I won't date a black man if he's not going to therapy. And my therapists have told me some insider information about these experiences. And so
mm.
I was just like, I've been going
Right,
and I'm
right,
already here. And I'm
right.
trying to get more people to do it because I just feel like it's a great benefit. Holding on to some of these things is not worth it to me. It's so much better because the stress, right? Like, stress leads to so many other things in our bodies. And if this one conversation can alleviate some of that, I'll take that. I'd
Yeah.
rather pay $30 to sit and talk with you than to pay $1,000 medical bill because of a heart attack or because of some type of failure to something in my body. I'd rather you pay the 30 than to pay 3,000 because you didn't wanna let that one thing go, and that resulted in you having this have medical issue. Mm-mm.
And that, brother, man, you hit it. And one of the other frustration things about that, coming to that hard moment where the body says that the payment is due is leading up to that point. Sometimes the blood work's not going to show it. All the
Mhm, nope.
tests they do, that's what happened to me. And that's what made me say, okay, I'll go to therapy now because every being in the hospital for a week and they're just, I mean, he took so much blood. I'm like, man, do I need a transfusion, man? Because y'all done just
Mhm.
trying to find something. Everything came back negative, right? So it's like, you know what? Maybe I should stop trying to hide behind these physical symptoms and go in here and have this conversation. But it
I
took
agree.
all that. But to your point earlier, you don't have to go through a crisis. I did, unfortunately, because I'm extremely stubborn and having an engineering background. You can always find a solution. That's the
Mhm.
mentality. There's a solution for everything, right? So, but for me, that one solution kind of converged on like going to one particular place, and that was was therapy, you know.
Mhm.
But the pain and the long recovery that resulted after that is something that motivates me to talk with folks and say, I just came out of that burning building that you head towards. You see this burn mark here? I gotta
Mhm.
wear that for life. You know what I mean? Like I'm functional now, but I gotta keep this. So
Mhm.
you about to burn the same thing. So can we talk for a second? Can I just tell you some things and share some experiences I've
Mhm.
had that, you may not want to go through as well, you know? There was a guy
All the time.
I had a vendor table at an event. He's like, yeah, man, I just go to the gym, I just work out, and that's my therapy. I said, man, that's what happens if you get hurt or you lose your membership. I said, listen, keep working out. I need to get in there myself. I haven't done nothing in months. That's my problem right now. That's the other tool I need to pull out of my toolkit and get my act together, right? I said, but you can have both.
You can.
You can have both. And
You
please,
can.
please take consideration for it because he lost somebody significant in his life as well. And I could when you when you go through stuff, sometimes you can look at people and see like, wow, I don't know specifically what you're dealing with right now. I know you're wearing this mask and smiling on everybody else's face, but I can feel it and I can see it that you're going through something that I've gone through as well, and I can feel that energy and that resonation, that resonance coming off you, and I know where you're headed if you don't go and get the help that you need. You know,
You could
I don't
definitely
mind
see on
speaking out
people.
now and telling people, gently, like you said. I think you said with curiosity, but also with something else. That was a key phrase that you said earlier
Mhm.
in how your therapist had talked to you. But let me ask you this, and again, this is me having this envy of, man, if I had met you when I was starting my journey through through graduate school, man,
Mhm.
you probably would have told me, Darius, man, you glad you're in school here, but you probably need to go see, you know, a therapist or somebody to professionally that can give you the help. Do you find yourself now being able to see the cues in people where you can offer that aspect of saying, yes, get your education, but also, hey, you should probably consider this as well, because if you don't have this in the journey, good likelihood you're not going to finish.
I got one of those right now. Um, without really relinquishing too much insider information, the person is ready to exit out of they've been how do I want to say this? They are in a career path right now where they don't know what they want to do next, but they know they don't want to stay in the one that they're in. And so they are looking to go back to school. But the words that they said to me and the message made it very clear that I don't know if this is the right time. They
Mm,
said that they are experiencing burnout and feel determined to do nothing. And I was like, yo,
I get that seed in the
this
rest.
is
Go take that sabbatical.
this is a signal. This is a signal. And so I'm still talking through this around, are you sure this is the right time? Are you sure? Because what I don't want you to do is to go invest 20, $30,000, be healed. What I don't want you to do is to use this as a scapegoat, to use
Mm,
this as a tool for managing something else that you're not willing to address.
mm,
At the point that you feel like you're experiencing burnout, is grad school really the next move? And the group that I see do this the most, who go back, even in the midst of chaos, difficult situations, are Black women.
mm.
And it's a hard conversation to have sometimes because I'm not the one they want to hear this from as a
Yeah.
Black man. The other part of it is that I care. I'm married to a Black woman. I am raising a daughter who will be a Black woman. I understand. And so this is a hard one, but it's not hard for me. It's not about me getting you into my funnel to then get you to be a client and make money. No, what you said in those words are a big red flag.
Yeah.
This is not the time. I need you to go deal with that first. I need you to figure out why you're experiencing burnout. I need you to understand what your coping strategies are. Are these healthy ones or not? I need you to understand that even if you got the degree, will that resolve it? How will you feel? What life do you want to live right now? And is this school this place, this school, this work, these things you're doing, the degree you're interested in, or the one you're already in? Because they're in a program now. I'm like, is this really it? Because
Yeah.
most people don't enroll in one, start one, and then say, I want to go look for another one. There's some
Right.
other things going on,
Yeah.
and whatever that is, that needs to go be dealt with sitting with a licensed mental health professional.
Yeah.
Not because I don't think I'm not capable of offering you guidance and insight, but what you're experiencing far exceeds my training. And I need you to go sit with somebody who has the training to get you there. Because I want you to be a more better version of yourself when you decide to do this degree.
Yeah.
And
Well,
some people are like that. Some of my competitors are like, no, I don't care about none of that.
right.
Come
Give
on
my
in this
money.
program.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not like that.
Well, that's one of the things that at least I recognized going from undergrad to grad, is that the pace of which the course would go compared to undergrad, Dude, I felt like I was running for my life that first class back.
Man.
After a 5-year layoff, I'm like, "Wow, this is hard."
Mhm. Mhm.
I lost 15 pounds just from and this was I was doing it one class at a time. I wasn't even in full time. I was taking one class at a time. This guy, the first dude, they said he's a weed out. He gave me a run for my money,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm like, I think back now, like, where did the energy and stuff, even come from for any of that stuff? So you put on mental health issues on top of that, man. Like, it sounds like it could be a formula for disaster. There are
It
many
could be.
times throughout that first semester, I was like, man, I want to quit. I don't need this degree. I already got a degree. What am I doing this for? Then my mentor
That
was like,
first
ah, man.
semester is I tell people the first semester is the eye opener, which is why when you if I meet with you and we're talking about this desire you have to go back to school, one of the first assignments I give people, whether you're a client or not, is everybody got to do the same thing. I need you to carve out an hour a day for 3 days a week just to start and focus that hour on reading and or writing or both. I need you to shift your mind around. I could just make this work. I've been in school before. I did middle school. I did high school. I did college. If you have not done this and thought about things in this way, especially at the graduate level, it's a different level of critical thinking. It is a deeper level of critical thinking. You might have read 20 pages in a book in one semester. No, you're reading 20 pages a week,
Yeah,
maybe 40 or 50.
yeah.
And that right there, the mindset you need to adapt to that, if you don't do it, it makes the first semester feel like hell. It's exhausting. I don't care who you are. That first semester, whether you're fresh out of undergrad or you haven't done this in 15 years, you're going to be exhausted. And so my work now is to help people to prepare people to condition themselves.
Mm,
It's like, no, don't just go hop in here and say, I'm gonna go run a 5K and you don't even walk. I need you to build the stamina to walk the 5K. I need you to practice doing the 3.2 miles. I need you to put yourself in the physical and mental position of a person who does this so
right.
that you can be the most successful in this experience. And if not for your personal gain, make a financial decision. It's worth me making the adjustment now. But most people don't. They go into it full force, they're exhausted first semester, and they quit because
Wow.
they never made adjustments.
Yeah.
It's like, I got my regular life. I'm just gonna do it when my baby go to sleep. I just get up an hour early. Are you doing that now? And it's not to say like you can't make the adjustment. You absolutely can. You're gonna have to. But at this level, the sooner you do that, the easier this could become for you. But again, some people don't. And it's fight, flight, or freeze. Those are your three responses. And you pick which one, and each of those have a cost. And so my work and my role is to help you to consider the cost, the time cost, the financial cost, the emotional cost, and the physical cost. Because as I tell folks, I want you to make an informed decision, not an emotional one. Not like, I want a Mercedes, let me go on out there and get a Mercedes. No, 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 no. Do you have a Mercedes maintenance money?
Right.
Do you have time to mm-mm. We gotta I want people to think this differently because the average person has $80,000 debt. And if they have 80, 60 of that, it's probably from grad school.
Yeah.
We gotta do it differently.
Yeah.
And I just want people to do it differently. And that starts in the mind with what we do.
Sir, that is powerful. And like I said, man, where were you 20 years ago?
Like most people say that they're like, I mean, I wish I had this when I was thinking about it. And I was like, then tell the next person. Then tell the next person who needs that. Cause there's so much that I didn't know. You couldn't have told me that I was gonna be first semester in going to meet with a therapist. But how much longer, Justin, are you gonna avoid this anxious feelings that you have? or you're going to confront them? Because the feedback you got from that assignment sent you to a direction. The neighbor running up and down the stairs sent you in a direction. The being 8, 9 hours away from your family and people are sick and you can't do anything about it can send you in a direction. This is why having a good mental health professional to work with while you're also doing the degree is incredibly helpful. It's about centering yourself.
Man, that powerful, good segue to and good note to end on.
Mhm.
Got two more things to do, and
Okay.
one of those is the I told you about in the during the pre-record. It's a quick fire round.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I love these. So it's 10 of these, and we're just gonna fire them off, man. So, and then we will end the show giving you the last word, and then let us know what's next for you and where we can find you, man. And that'll be it, man. So, number
All
one,
right.
are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Who is the GOAT MC, in your opinion?
Biggie.
Okay. All right. Facebook or Instagram?
IG all day.
Big friend group or tight inner circle?
Tight inner circle.
Texting all day or one long phone call?
One long phone call.
Clean as you go or power clean once a week?
Definitely gonna power clean once a week.
So you got kids.
Mhm.
Who is your favorite singer?
Favorite singer. Right now, I'm feeling Jill Scott.
Okay. That's a good one. That's a good one. Apple or Android? Yes. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Hmm.
Let's get up and get
Thought
going.
you said night owl. Okay. What's most important in a song, the lyrics or the beat?
Lyrics.
Yeah.
Lyrics. Man, lyrics. Yeah, lyrics.
All right. All right. What current book are you reading or did you just finish reading?
Uh, Goodness, what's the name of the book if you hadn't asked me this? Edwina Finley's new book. It is called the something with manifestation. What is the name of her book? It's gonna hit me in 3 seconds. The World is Waiting for You.
Mm.
The Power of Manifestation or Embrace or something with your manifestation. It's the book that I think everybody needs to read in this moment about manifestation and our calling. If you are a New Year's resolution person or you're just trying to start something, start with this book.
Is it audio?
There is an audio version of it, Kindle
Dig
version and the hard book, all of it. It's
I'll
worth it.
definitely do that. Cool, cool. Well, that was our quick round of 10 questions. Thank you for participating. And Dr. Grimes, it was a pleasure having you on the show. Can you please tell the people what is next for you and where can they find you?
Yeah, well, what's next for me is I am going around to several different higher education institutions and organizations talking about the next move. Like, what do you want to do next? And what strategies do you need to put in place to make that happen? And part of that work for me is in graduate education. I do a lot of workshops around writing a personal statement, funding your graduate degree, understanding how this process works and what you need to do to get in. And additionally, what I'm doing is I am restructuring my coaching program. The next coaching program is going to be broken into two groups. One is called the Graduate School Academy. And that is for individuals who really, as I talk today about the mindset shifts that you need, it's helping people to make that shift
Nice.
and giving them some insights and information, not only about the process of applying, but really set you up for success mentally, physically, and emotionally. And then the next group is the Grad School Collective. And that group is hands-on. I'm doing stuff for you. I'm reading over your documents. We're having one-on-ones, we're having discussions. My book is now an ebook version on the website. So the services that we offer with anything related to finding to funding graduate school, the books, my apparel, all the stuff is on applytograduateschool.com. You can find me. I'm primarily living on TikTok and IG more these days. at IMJ Grimes. But for business pro focus with grad school, you can follow apply the number 2G school. And those are the spaces that I live. I'm excited about what's coming. This is a year of helping people to make their next move for me. And that is going to be career or more education. And really it's both, helping them to maximize that. Important calling on my life right now is to help people understand how to use these degrees. How do we use what we got to create the opportunities that we want so that we can live the life that we deserve? And that's where I'm moving in now.
Boom. Hey, perfect note to end on. I don't have anything to add to that. I'm going to cue the music for the outro.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you, brother, for this opportunity. I'm incredibly proud of the work that you're doing
Thank you.
and how you're providing this space and opportunity for folks to talk about their mental health journeys, their therapy experiences, and normalize for folks that it's okay to go see somebody and talk with someone. You'll be better as a result of having done it.
Absolutely. Couldn't end it any better than that. So, folks, you know the slogan. Find your recovery path. Till next time, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next episode.
You can tell your lies, you can make your plans, watch it all fall apart, watch it drift like sand.